back? What do you prefer?
We all know where the game's going, right? And we all know the game is going to, a more movement style quarterback. I embrace that. I love that. And we worked with some, in Philadelphia, had worked with Carson Wentz, and we did a lot of good things. Got a lot of good things with movement, RPOs, play action, all that stuff. Same thing in the years in Indy. We had some drop back, some movement guys. And so ultimately we can adapt to whatever. But where the game is going, and most of the guys coming out in college have more movement. So, right, that has some advantages. The defensive players will tell you when that quarterback is back there and he has a threat to run. You watch Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, which our offenses are very similar just because of our connection with Nick Sirianni and so on and so forth. And the quarterback's running his own read and he's a threat to run. It just puts the defense in conflict, right? Slows the backside down. We have a saying that we'll say on offense: front side wins games, backside wins championships. Front side wins games, backside wins championships. Okay, well, if the backside wins championships, and if I got a quarterback who can run, and he's making that defensive end hold his water, or making the linebacker hold the water at the second level, it's just going to give my guys more room on the front side. It's going to put the offensive lineman in a position to have better leverage. So if you got that guy, that's the game you play, and you put it to the player's advantage. But at some level, even those guys. And Mr. Tepper and Scott and I talked about this. You got to have a guy that can win from the pocket. We're not going to drop back. If we have one of those guys, we won't drop back 50 times, but you got to drop back 10 times. It's 3rd and 10, and the game is on the line. You probably are playing from the pocket. So we can develop that as well. You want to be able to understand who you're drafting or understand who you're acquiring, continue to develop them as a player. We can all get better. I can be better as a coach. They can become better as a player, whether we're signing a guy or drafting a guy. But ultimately, that's the challenge, and that's the excitement of it. Yeah. You got to have stability at quarterback. You want to have stability at quarterback. So the good thing that I've learned in my past experience here, in a few years, is we've learned how to adapt to different styles of quarterbacks, but that's not the ideal situation, right? So we, Mr. Tepper, Scott, myself, have to commit to what's our blueprint, how are we going to maintain stability at quarterback, make a plan, and then execute that plan every day. There's a quote that's been on my desk since my rookie year in 1985, and you'll hear me say this a lot. And it says this, that no man becomes suddenly different from his habits and cherished thoughts. No man becomes suddenly different from his habits and cherished thoughts. And so we're going to be a team and an organization that is about creating championship habits, championship thoughts. We're going to cultivate those. We're going to nurture those. And those are going to grow. They're going to be infectious. We want to feel those, and we want to feel that in the community. And we're so excited to really partner with our fans, because that's a very important part of the process.
That you will then implement here in Carolina?
I did. I did. In some ways, if there was going to be a transition, it was a blessing in disguise, that I really did. Okay, we were talking earlier with a group of people. In the NFL, you're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have successes and failures. We had 4 years of good success, and then you go through 1 year where where there's a struggle, and now you have a chance to reflect on that. And it's like getting an app. I like to talk to the players like this. In apps you get version 1, then there's version 2. I feel like this provides me an opportunity to debug some things, make things better. Now come out with version 2.0 or version 3.0. It's better. It's cleaned up. The important thing is, though, that you're starting with a good product to start, which I know we are. So now we clean some things up. Like I said, staff, vision of the offense, complementary defense, and that high level of special teams play, all the areas that that we're really going to focus on a team, and then how to stay true to the process, manage expectations in a way, keep our team focused on the right things, and then keep challenging and pushing. Ultimately, it's got to come from the players. The head coach and the coaches can only do so much. The leadership has to come from the locker room, right? I got a role that I got to play, and I'll do my best to play that role. But ultimately, that leadership's got to come from the players as well.
Has it been successful?
I think what went wrong was, we had this. In 4 years, we established, in 4 years, it was established that that team, we were running the ball well. We're like we're going to do here. And then as this year started out, the running game disappeared. And then we didn't get the ball vertically down the field a lot because of that and we ended up having some breakdowns. Now, and that's on me as the head coach. I got to get that right. The responsibility starts with me, right? So when we don't reach our goals, it's under my leadership, and so I have to take, and that's why I have an opportunity to be here. But ultimately, I also feel, I look back and I also say, well, part of it went wrong. I always feel like I've always had a good track record of the second half of the season as a head coach. If you go back and look at the record in the second half of the season, so there's a little bit of side of me that says we've had a way as a staff of figuring it out. Even when you go over a few bumps, I think we're good at figuring things out, injuries, things you have to get past, putting players in the best position. So that's a lot of fun to do. From that first season, of course, we didn't play here. We played in Clemson. So one of the memories is the bus rides. It's the camaraderie of the players, right? Your teammates. We're on these long, we got home games that we're bussing to that are, several hours away, and then traffic coming out of Clemson was, always a little bit slow, even with an escort. But those are great memories. Those are great memories. I won't go into the details, but some of the memories of our practice facility that year in the showers, there was a unique showering situation. I'll just put it that way. That was a unique memory. And, the touchdown pass to my friend Pete Metzlar's, of course, first touchdown in Panthers history. I don't have, as a career backup quarterback, I don't have too many highlights. But, to have the first touchdown pass in the team's history is pretty special. And then that first game in Atlanta. We're playing our very first game in team history in Atlanta with, thinking, you're even going to have a chance, and we take the game to overtime, and we ended up losing in overtime, but I'll never forget that first game.